Hello everyone. Today we are going to see the simulation of fully controlled rectifier along with some harmonic analysis. So this is full wave AC to DC controlled rectifier. For R and RL load we will see both loads. Why it is called as controlled rectifier? Because it has got controlled switches in it, and the output of this rectifier can be controlled by changing the firing angle. You can see over here the output voltage can be changed by using the firing angle. So 2 Vm cos alpha upon pi. So as you change the alpha, your output voltage will change. So you are not so you are not getting only DC, you are changing the magnitude of DC by changing the firing angle. So let us open the MATLAB. So go to the Simulink. Let us take the blank model. Let it open. It will take some time to open. And let us take the components. Go to the library browser and let us take the components that we require. So let us find first of all the thyristor. You can just type it and you'll get thyristor. So we are going to take this thyristor. Let me scroll down. We are going to take this thyristor. So right click on it and add block to the model untitled. So you can see here it has appeared. So let it rotate. First of all, let it rotate. Okay. So click on it. We don't want any kind of measurement in thyristor. I don't want to measure thyristor voltage and all that. If you want, you can do that. Apply and okay. Let us take 3 more such thyristors. So along with it, as you can see in the diagram, will require a AC voltage supply. So go to library browser, AC voltage supply or AC voltage source. Take this one. We don't want the one from the blue ones. We want this AC voltage source. Right click on it. Add the model. So we have a source, thyristors and load. We are going to take series RLC branch. Take this one. This load is like you can change the load as you want. You can take only R, only L, only C, or RL, RC, RLC, anything that you want. You can just check over here. So you can take any. Generally, the load in the power system or in home is RL. So we are going to take the load as RL. I'll take the resistance as 20 ohm and inductance to be 100 millihenry and apply and okay. Let me rotate it. You can right click on it and click on rotate. Okay, you can also do Control R. Okay, then let me connect it. Now what we will require pulse generator, because these are controlled switches. We are going to control its on by giving it a pulse. Okay, so this pulse generator will give the fire pulses at particular firing angle decided by us. Okay, so we are going to see how that pulse generator will work. So go to the library browser, take pulse generator, take this one. Yes, so there are four control switches. I'm taking four pulse generator. You can even take two pulse generator and give to the pairs of these thyristors, but for simplicity in understanding, we are taking four pulse generator. First of all, I'll configure pulse generator for thyristor, this one and this one. Okay, you can give it a name also. You can call it as T1 and T2, because you know that at positive half cycle this thyristor and this thyristor will conduct, and you can give any name. Okay, okay. So let me go to the pulse generator. You know that in positive half cycle T1 and T3 conduct, and in next half cycle this T2 and T4 will work. So we want to give the pulse to T1 and T3 simultaneously, and after 180 degree, that is in the next half cycle, we are going to give the pulse to T2 and T4. Let us see how we can do it. So click on this. So this pulse generator will generate a pulse of amplitude 1. Don't change it. Period for this pulse, let us give it as 0.02 seconds, because you know that one cycle is 360 degree, or you can say that 20 millisecond. 1 by 50 hertz is 20 millisecond or 0.02 second. Let us give the pulse width of 5 to 10%, because here we are not concerned with it. So the smaller width is also okay over here. You can give 10% also. So the main thing over here is to give phase delay. So here we have to decide at what angle I want to fire my thyristor. So how to give the phase delay in terms of second? Because if you know, if you are saying ki I want to fire my thyristor at 30 degree, that is in terms of degree. But here you have to specify the phase delay in terms of seconds. Let us see how you can do it. So this is very simple. You can use this methodology also, but let me explain this one to you. Just wait for a while. Okay, so you know that one cycle is your 20 millisecond, 1 by 50 hertz, 1 by f is your time period, that is 20 millisecond, that is 0.02 second, or in terms of degree if you want to specify, then it is 360 degree, right? So now you want to give the firing angle at 30 degree. So how you can convert that 30 degree in terms of time in second? So just the simple mathematics you use since you are using since your school days, the same thing is applied over here. So 0.02 second is 360 degree, so this much of second for 30 degree. So simple, 0.02 into 30 divided by 360 second. So this is how you have to mention the time delay in second in the pulse generator. So let us open this. So let me give the same over here, 0.02 into in bracket 30 divided by 360. Yes, apply. Okay, so give the same pulse to your this thyristor, because you know that the same pulse will go to T3 because T1 and T3 will fire at same time. Okay, then just let me copy this pulse generator over here, and the only change that we are going to do over here is that we want this pulse generator to give the pulse for the next half cycle. Next half cycle will start after 180 degree. Okay, so if you are giving first pulse at 30 degree, then the next pulse for rest of the two thyristors will be at 30 plus 180 degree. Okay, that is 210 degree. Okay, let us copy this one and attach over here. Control R. Okay, so also I want to do some measurement. I want to see the input voltage, output voltage. I also want to check the input current. Why I am concerned with the input current, I'll tell you in some time. So first of all, let us take the voltage measurement and current measurement block. Very simple, this one, and current measurement block. These are nothing but the voltmeter and ammeter. You know how to connect them. Current measurement is nothing but the ammeter. You connect it in series. Okay. So let me connect it in series. This is first point and this is second point. And sorry for that, I have to connect it over here and I have to connect it over here. Yes. And this voltmeter, you can use it for measuring input voltage and output voltage. This is how you can connect. Okay. And you can copy this and you can paste it on output side. So let me connect it at output side. First of all, let me connect it at the output. And just place it over here. Okay. Just you can adjust it uh, for good presentation. So now let me connect the voltmeter at output side. Now let me take a scope just like the DSO that you use in your labs. We are going to use scope where you can see the waveforms, right? So this is the scope that you have to use. So this is scope, and I want to check the input voltage, input current, and output voltage. So I am going to give three inputs to this scope. So let me configure this scope. Click on this scope, go to the settings. Number of input ports will be 3 and the layout will be like this. I want to check 3 different waveforms so that you can see them differently. Okay, so you can see it afterwards. Let me connect the inputs to it. So first of all, let me connect this input voltage to this. So if I want to reduce the number of wires, I can use from and go to block. So let me use this go to block. It will decrease the wires in my simulation and it will be easier to show them in the simulation model. Okay, so this is one, and you can give it a name. Okay, you can give it name tag VN. Click on this block also, VN. You can select this one, apply. Okay, now similarly do it for, or you can say you can copy this block and paste it over here, and you have to change the name to IN. You cannot give the same name to this from and go to block. You have to give separate names for separate measurements, right? It is very simple. IN, apply. Okay, and connect it and just click on it and you'll get this block, and you can check the input current. Just let me give this input current as third input to this. You can give it at any input port, it doesn't matter. Just go to voltage measurement. Now I have to check the output voltage. Again I'll take go to block. You can just take it from library browser, or you can take it or you can just copy it, just paste it. Now the name here will be V out, right? V out. Let me connect it, and I'm going over here and I'm clicking and I'm getting the from block, and like this I can see now all the graphs without creating many wires over here. So okay, so one thing is remaining is input voltage. So let us give 230 volt RMS input, but they want peak voltage, they want VM, but 230 is what? RMS voltage. How to find peak voltage? Peak voltage is RMS value into root 2, VM into root 2, right? VM into square root of 2, SQRT 2, and frequency is 50 Hertz in our India. Okay, so I hope everything is connected over here. Yes, right. And now let us simulate this one. So run. Yes, one more thing that is remaining is Power GUI block. This is very much important, without which you cannot run your models considering this switches and all. Okay. Power GUI. So click on it. I am considering the simulation type as a discrete. Apply and OK. Now let me again save it. Let me save it, and you can just save it. It is saved. Let me run it. Yes, now it is running. Let me open this. Okay, so I need to configure it. Let me run it for 0.06 second. It will show me sorry, 3 cycles, right? Because one cycle is 0.02 second. Yeah, you can see over here that this is my input voltage and this is my output voltage. You can see over here your output voltage is giving you the output, or you can say after 30 degree, right? You are getting output after 30 degree. Okay, this is your one cycle. You are getting output after 30 degree. Okay, and why you are getting this conduction at negative half cycle? This is because you have connected the inductive load, because of which you are getting the output at negative half cycle. Okay. Let me check one thing. Yeah. Okay. Just let me change the brackets over here. Let me delete this one and create this one. Okay, let me connect now. Yeah, right. This is the exact output that I wanted. So while giving the firing angle, it is very much important to give it in proper brackets. Okay, so you can see over here, you have to give the brackets like this, while you have to write, when you have to add this 30 plus 180, you have to write it in bracket, otherwise you will get some different output. So you can see in the diagram, let me drag it over here. Okay, so as you can see that you are getting the output at each half cycle, and you are getting the output after 30 degrees. So this is your input voltage, right? And this is your output voltage. Okay, you can give the names to these graphs also by just changing the configuration properties. Okay, or you can go to the view and all that, it is very easy. So this is the output voltage after 30 degree, because we have given the firing angle as 30 degree. So, and why you are getting output at negative half cycle also, or what you can say, you are getting output at negative side also, this is because you have connected this inductive load to it. When I will remove it this inductive load, I'll not get this the output like this. I'll show you here itself. Let me take only R load and let me apply it, and okay, so let me save it and run it. Yeah, you can see over here that I'm getting output after 30 degree at each half cycle. Okay, if I change the firing angle, I get the different output. You can try at your end also. Okay, so input voltage, output voltage. Now I'll talk about this input current now. Okay, so you can see here that this is input voltage and it has got harmonics into it. Okay, ideally it should be input voltage is AC and its input current should also be AC, but you know that these power electronic components or nonlinear loads gives rise to harmonics in your system. Okay, So first of all, let me change the load to RL as it was previously. Let me run it again. Yeah, so we are getting output like this, or you can see that this is the input current. Ideally in rectifier, your input is AC and output is DC, and your rectifier should not affect the input side, but due to this controlled switches and the output that you are changing, it is not purely DC, so the overall effect will create the harmonics in your input current. So remember, harmonics are first injected in your current and then they are injected in the voltages. So first of all, remember, while studying the harmonics, you must first concentrate on the current. And if you are going to study the harmonics of rectifier, then you have to see the AC side. Okay, and AC side means what? The source side in case of rectifier. And when you are studying inverter, where you convert DC into AC, at that point you will see the harmonic current at output side or load side of inverter. Remember, okay? So for rectifier, you are going to see the harmonic current at source side, and for inverter you are going to see the harmonic current at load side. Okay, so this is very important thing. So how to see the harmonics in your this rectifier or any kind of rectifier, any kind of your supplier. So in MATLAB Simulink there is a function called as FFT analysis, fast Fourier transform analysis, where you can analyze how much harmonics are there in your how much harmonics are there in your supply current, okay, or voltage. But firstly we are concerned with the current. The harmonics distorts your wave and it creates problem at your power system or at your distribution transformer end, and it is really a huge topic. We are not going into detail, but here is a function in MATLAB where you can easily find out how much harmonics are there in your system. Okay, just go to this power GUI block. There is a tool called FFT analysis. You can use this FFT analysis and you can literally find it out easily. But first what you have to do, you have to go to the scope, you have to go to the settings, then you have to go to login, and you have to check this one. If this limit data points is checked, you have to uncheck it and you have to check the log data to workspace, and you can give any variable name. So I'm not changing it, you can even give your name also. So variable name scope data, I'll not change it. Okay, and one more thing that you have to do, if you are using the current MATLAB version or recent MATLAB version, then what you have to do is you have to go to the modeling, model settings, and you have to go to the data import export, and you have to uncheck single, you have to uncheck this one, single simulation output, otherwise you will not get the FFT analysis properly. So you have to uncheck this single simulation output and format should be dataset. Apply and OK. So yes, you are all set. Save and let us run the simulation. Now you can even go to Power GUI block, go to the tools, go to FFT analysis, Okay, and what you have to do first, you can do refresh, then name is scope data, and what we have to, or which harmonic we have to see the current harmonics, input current harmonics, and input current is connected to third input. Okay, so input is third. Okay, so you can even see the signal over here. Change. Yeah, yes, so this is the input current waveform, and so the fundamental frequency is 50 hertz. Let me change it to 50 hertz, and maximum frequency is 1000 hertz. So in between these, if there is any kind of harmonic, second harmonic, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 10th, okay, so we are going to see all these harmonics. Okay, and just so harmonics are nothing but the what you can say, unwanted signals of higher frequencies than fundamental frequency. Fundamental frequency 50 hertz. When we call second harmonic, it is 100 hertz. When it is called as third harmonics, it is 150 hertz. So instead of just only one fundamental frequency due to this harmonics, there are many unwanted signals of higher frequencies. Okay, so just click on display. So yes, you can see here that your this control rectifier at 30-degree firing angle has got the total harmonic distortions of 27.34%. So this much of harmonics are there in your controlled rectifier. Okay, so as I will change the firing angle, this harmonic total harmonic distortion percentage will change. Okay, so it is very much important to create the harmonic filters which will filter this unwanted signals. If you want to see how much percentage of harmonics of different frequencies are there, so you can just go to this display style as list and click on display. So you can see that along with the 50 hertz fundamental frequency, you have got 100 hertz, that is second harmonics of this much percentage, third harmonics, and all that you can just check. And 0 hertz means what? The input current has also got the DC component in it, and you can even check the percentage of it over here. Okay, so this is very easy over here. Yes, so this is how you can see the harmonic content in your input current. So mainly we are concerned with the harmonics in current. You can check or you can use FFT analysis anywhere you want to check the harmonics. Okay, so and one more thing is that you can change. So there are lot many problems associated with the harmonics in your controlled rectifier, and how you can reduce it. There are these many methods of reducing it. You can use multiple pulse rectifiers, you have to use harmonic filters, and with the help of which you can remove the specific harmonics also, selective harmonics also, and you can make it pure again. Okay, so your waveform has get impaired due to the intervention of another frequencies, and with the help of the filters, multiple pulse rectifiers, you can remove those unwanted frequencies. Okay, so this is how you can do the simulation and check the harmonics. So thank you very much for listening.